Alrighty guys, today I'm going to be going over specifically the Garcia 6'8" delay rod. So this is a medium power delay rod. With their delay rods, they are a combination of both fiberglass and graphite. And what that allows the rod to do is have a softer tip, a more as everyone says in all the other reviews about this rod, which there aren't that many, it has a more parabolic action. So you're going to have a nice softer tip. It's going to be about 50%, well, not completely 50% of the rod, but it's going to be a bigger chunk of the rod, like a 60-40 maybe, as you can see, hopefully. And then it's going to be backbone on the rest. The thing that I like about having a softer tip rod for crankbaits, jerkbaits, treble hook baits is, one, with jerkbaits you get a nice action. I throw a lot of jerkbaits in the cooler weather, so spring and fall time. I really like having a little bit softer tip rod, so that way I don't feel like I'm just pulling the bait along. It kind of works the bait a little bit better, in my opinion. I've always used around medium heavy, depending on what I got in the boat. But that's kind of what I've always used. A little bit softer tip on that kind of stuff. When you're setting the hook on crankbaits and you're reeling in that bait, obviously, so the bait's moving. Fish bites the hook. As soon as you feel that bite, most people set the hook right away. One thing I think I'm going to like about this rod is when I'm throwing crankbaits with it, I'm going to have that softer tip. And I have used softer tips for crankbaits before in the past. It's just something I like and something that people say you should have. So with how they designed this rod for crankbaits and stuff and treble hook baits, they call it the delay so that when a fish comes and bites the hook, when you set that hook, you're going to have just a little bit of time when it's a softer tip before you get into that backbone and really set the hook. That's going to give you a better chance, or that's going to give the fish a better chance of not spitting out the hook. And he's going to be able to, hopefully, in theory, grab onto that hook a little bit more before you set the hook into him. This is the second generation of this rod, and it doesn't say anywhere that it's a second generation rod, but they changed some stuff, and then they had these, they added, I don't know what, I know it's called, but instead of having just one of these supports, they have two on the second gen. I'm not sure what else they changed in the second gen, but that is one of the things that they changed, so for more durability and sturdiness. They got a hook holder with that style. It depends on the rod. Like a treble hook rod, I don't really care, but if I'm throwing like a worm or something like that, like a Texas rig or whatever, it's nice to have the one that's like a hook, so you can just slide your hook in there. It is a Fuji, I don't know how you want to say that, but the F-U-J-I reel seat. And then they got a really nice handle on all of these Ike series rods. I really like it. It just feels really good in your hands. And then, yeah, that's about it for the kind of specs and why I got this rod. 6'8" medium, 1/4 to 5/8 ounce lure, and then on 6 to 14 pound line is what they have it labeled as. That's always something to keep in mind, at least the lure weight on all your fishing rods, so that you don't overweight the rod and have a possibility of it breaking. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there was really anything else I wanted to cover. I showed the tip. I kind of talked about this rod. Oh, yeah. Also with the 6'8" rod, they designed it so that it has a shorter butt section there. I've talked about this in a couple other videos when I wasn't just showing this rod. But it makes it really nice for if you're working a jerkbait or stuff like that. So that you don't have that tip getting in the way. Sometimes I like having a longer butt section. I kind of like resting the rod in my shoulder, armpit area kind of when I'm doing stuff or when I'm setting the hook. I like having that bit there, but I think it'll be a good rod to try out. And then this isn't really a review, just kind of I don't know what you want to call it, showing first thoughts. And then if anything bad happens to it, or if anything good happens to it, we'll find out. So, I think that's going to do it. Hopefully you guys like this one. We'll see you in the next one.